It's time to talk to Dominick Fariello. Ask the Dom. You got a legal question. The 800 number lines are open. 800-771-1025. I wish that we could talk to engineering and see if we can get rid of all the 800 numbers except maybe one. Would make more sense.
It doesn't really do anything, right?
Nobody's paying for toll calls anymore.
Right.
And I'll be quite honest with you, I don't care if somebody from out of state has to have priority to call into the show. You can be in anywhere in our listening voice or in our listening area and call in toll free. So, I don't know. The 800 lines are open. 800-771-1025. Please go get Ask the Dom and bring him in the studio with us. Don't forget, Galvin.
Yes.
Don't forget.
I will not forget it.
Common thing to say to people.
Right.
You don't want them to forget.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know what it was. We've got a, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. I was going to say we have a pub crawl coming up, but I don't know all the details to it. All I know is it's happening in September. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Dominick Fariello in full suit today, which can mean only one thing. Someone's getting sued.
That's it. That's right. Got court this morning. Got court this afternoon. Got court all day yesterday. Busy week. Busy week.
I had to get you on my suit guy.
Here's my problem. Your suit guy calls from time to time, and I love him to death. He's a very nice fella. The problem is I have 50 suits.
You need some snazzy ones.
But I'm not. I don't go to court 5 days a week anymore.
Court. I'm talking about sexy suits to go out.
Well, okay. Well, that's different.
We need sexy suits.
I could always go with sexy suits. You never have enough of sexy suits.
That's what I'm saying, Dom. Now we're talking.
See-through suit.
I don't want my lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, take it easy.
Are you going on the cruise?
I am. I don't know. I might be going solo. I was just talking to the fellas in the booth about maybe just going lone wolf.
In a room with Gio
and Joey, and they're like, "We're lone wolfing it, man." And I'm like, the
1 year that I'm going with my wife, you're lone wolfing it.
Well, Pumpkins has a hard time on the boats because she gets seasick.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, I was thinking about maybe bringing Dominick, so just a guy's trip, me and the booze. But I've never gone on one of your cruises lone wolf. I've always had either the family or Mikey Pros or Dead Air Sansoni or, somebody.
Right.
So I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe it's lone wolf time,
I like it.
do some shots.
I like to have a plan.
Cruise Dom is your favorite Dom, I believe. And then Evil Dom you like when I wear the beard.
Oh, Evil Dom's great. Evil Dom's great. All right, let's get right to these phone calls. Let's talk to Thomas. You're on Ask the Dom. What do you got, Thomas?
Hi, I wanted to ask the Dom about the seatbelt law.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, listen, I don't remember the exact year when it's passed, but I voted for it, and it was supposed to be then that it was a secondary offense. They had to pull you over for something else before they noticed that you didn't have a seatbelt on to give you a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know how all that changed to where they can just pull you over now if they see you without a seatbelt.
Yeah, I don't remember when it changed. That's a very good question, because a lot of people now are shifting from the texting law, which was a secondary offense, to now being a primary offense. So that's the new change, and something like that happened with the seatbelt law. I just cannot recall either when that occurred. But no, it's if they see you and you're not wearing your seatbelt and it's clear as day, they'll stop you for it. Obviously, it's a safety concern and a violation of Florida law. And then that's where that campaign, the ad campaign, came out a while back.
Ticket?
Click it or ticket. That's correct, Mike. So yeah, I don't remember when that was. Yeah.
I'm all over it. Well, it's why, sir. You against wearing the seatbelt?
Oh, no, sir. I wear my seatbelt all the time. I was curious how they could just change that, kick out the will of the voters.
They did the same thing with they did the same thing with the texting. It was a secondary thing. Now if they see you texting, they pull you over.
It seems to me, I don't know if I'm right, 4 or 5 years ago, I'm trying to remember when the billboard advertisements came out, because when that came out, I think that's when the law changed to a primary offense. And I just can't remember the time frame. But yeah, click it or ticket.
Click it or ticket, sir.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm looking for people who need legal advice.
Allegedly.
Not just things you could randomly ask Google.
Yeah.
Steven, you're on with Ask the Dom. What do you got, Steven?
Hey, good morning, Dom.
Morning.
I just wanted to speak to you real quick about my concealed weapons permit application I filed back in November. I have a felony withhold adjudication that I had probation. I was given 3 years probation. I was let off early after 2 years, only after I paid all my fines, of course. So they're not going to let you go unless you pay it, right?
Right.
So I applied for my concealed weapons permit was denied based on not completing my probation. So I figured maybe they didn't get one of the pages of documentation that I was supposed to send in. So I resent it with a letter explaining maybe they didn't get it, because now I don't send it. The lady behind the counter has to actually send it in, so I don't know what she did. Anyway, now they're saying that I owe $350. One person says I owe $350 of restitution to the court, but I have two other ladies that state, and the letters from the court stating that I do not, and the Department of Agriculture is still, one lady is still fighting me.
All right, what county is it that you had the legal issue in with probation and restitution? What county?
In Pinellas.
All right, well, call Pam at my office, AP Investigations. You can contact the clerk of the court in Pinellas County and square everything away with the court system, because if the court system says they're cool, then she can send that notification for you up there. And if there's a problem, then you might have to pay off Pinellas County, and then you send the receipt up there. So either way, it starts with Pinellas County, and then we get it to the Florida Department of Agriculture, which, of course, is the entity that gives the concealed weapon permits. Easy squeezy. Yeah, boom, done.
That's the issue. If I have to pay it, then I have to wait 3 years, because that says if I haven't paid, then they're saying that I have not completed my probation, which means by law I have to wait 3 years after completing probation to obtain my
allegedly,
PWC.
Unless there's a Scribner's error. I mean, you could have,
exactly.
They could be wrong, and if they're wrong, we'll politely tell the folks at the Department of Agriculture that they're wrong, because ultimately we want them to give you the concealed weapons permit. So it's not what you say, sir; it's how you say it. So let's say it correctly, and let's make sure we got our ducks in a row. Contact an investigator.
Real quick, sir. What'd you get the felony for?
It was I was 18 years old. We were right around 4th of July. We couldn't find any M80s to blow up ant piles, so we made our own.
All right, that's not bad.
Making and placing unlawful explosives.
All right, I'll give you a gun. That's not bad. You're okay. All right, thank you. Sometimes I like to go over these things, and I was having a good conversation with my very liberal friend Ben Swiggs yesterday about whether or not there should be testing for psychological issues. And if you should have to renew your firearms license every 5 years or so, and I actually agreed with that. I agreed that is a much better effort than talking about banning guns and stuff. And I don't mind that at all. So when some people call here and they go, well, I was arrested and I got my record expunged, I want my firearms back. I need to know if you're really in a situation to be having a firearm. That guy was just a dumb 18-year-old. Now he's fine. Had he done it in his 30s, then I would accuse him of being a terrorist, planting bombs in places. But in an 18,
Ben Swig is more conservative than he is liberal. When I talk to him a lot on my show, he actually, well, I would say maybe more moderate. I would say more moderate, yeah. But he's even keeled. I mean, he will agree if something is logical, even if it's against a liberal philosophy.
Right, he's smart.
But it's always very good to have a conversation with him in that regard, because he gets it.
Right, yeah. I agree with you. Steven, good morning. You're on the Mike Calta Show at Ask the Dom. What do you got, Steve?
Hey, guys. I got a DUI in DeSoto County. And
on what? Chocolate milk?
Something like that.
You sound kind of young, sir, is what he's saying.
Yeah, well, and I didn't know any lawyers. I mean, if I was in Pinellas or whatever, I'd call you, but I didn't know if you knew any lawyers or any lawyers that you would recommend in DeSoto County.
Well, that's a great.
I should call.
Well, that's a great question. Unfortunately, I do not know anyone off the top of my head in DeSoto County, and I hate to try to find somebody for you without knowing them, because I like to have at least a personal connection with a lawyer that I refer you to, because it's an extension of my office if I refer it, or an extension of me. So unfortunately, I don't know anybody down there. But what I would recommend is each county has a local bar association membership. Lawyers will be members of local bar associations, and every local bar association, for the most part, has a lawyer referral service. So you can call the DeSoto County Bar Association and say, listen, I was charged with a DUI. I'd like to have a lawyer in your referral network that does criminal law. And they'll probably give you, 2 or 3 names. And at least those lawyers are a member of a bar association, that they have to have certain credentials to be part of the referral service. Like I'm in a referral service in a few counties. I have to have lawyer's malpractice insurance, and I have to have certain things, in accordance with the requirements to be on the referral service. So that's just an extra layer of protection if you go through the local community bar association. That's the best advice I can give you there, okay?
All right. Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Have a good.
Another satisfied customer.
Ease up on the chocolate milk.
That's right. 2 straws, right? 2 straws.
Yeah, made it easy.
Let's go to John. John, you're on with Acid Dom. John had a shed, a new property that wasn't paid for, incomplete.
Wasn't a she shed, was it?
Yeah, he burned down the she shed.
What do you got, John?
Can you guys hear me on Bluetooth?
Yes.
Okay, good. I purchased a rental property about a year ago down in Manatee County, and tenant's been in there for the better part of a year. I got a call from the tenant on Friday stating that someone had showed up from a leasing company, stating that we were 3 months behind on our shed payments on a rent-to-own contract, and they either needed to get paid or they needed to repossess the shed. Obviously, the tenant pushed them off and gave them my number. They called me. I talked to my attorney about it, and I'm trying to get a second opinion on it because it's such a weird situation. I've talked to them. They, of course, have no way of getting a hold of the people that sold us the house. They moved out of state. I did track down their address and gave it to the leasing company, but they're basically stating, give us our shed back right this minute. My attorney that I did speak to said that they really don't have much of a case against me, but I wanted a second opinion.
Is there any documentation from these folks that they are the lawful owners of the shed? For example, a contract for a lease of said shed with the previous owners?
They've said that there is a rent-to-own contract that they would supply me, but this all took place in the last 24 hours, so I haven't seen anything yet. Well, it sounds legitimate.
All right. Well, I mean, here's the situation. I mean, so you bought something that you thought was part of the property. It turns out it's not. It's somebody else's property, allegedly. Tell the folks, say, hey, listen, you need to send me the documents or your proof, your evidence that this is actually your property. Because in law, in the civil context, it's an act of conversion, which you have the property of another, and then their recourse is an action of replevin, where they seek to recover the property that's being held by another. Those are the two concept terms that we're talking about here in the civil context. So with that being said, obviously if they can prove to you that it's theirs, yes, you want to return it, but now you have been unjustly enriched in the sense because you believed it was yours because of the sale and purchase of the property. So 2 things can now happen for you. You can go against the sellers of the property because that should have been disclosed in the sale of the property, and you might be able to make a claim against the title insurance that you should have had and acquired when you did the closing of said sale transaction of the land. So you've got 2 recourses there after the issue happens if you have to give back the shed. If they cannot provide you documentation, then more likely than not, they may not be able to get the shed. So I've kind of thrown a lot of stuff at you because this thing can go of a multitude of different ways, and I hope that wasn't too confusing for you, sir.
No, I'm actually in finance, so I understand what you said.
Got it. Good.
The title insurance is probably not an avenue because it was a rent-to-own contract, and they didn't actually record anything in the chain of title.
Okay.
On this. So,
well, there's different things. Well, yeah. Well, I wasn't at the closing, so I mean, you're going to know more things than me about that, sure. But at least you have a recourse against the sellers because this stuff should have been disclosed to you. But be it as it may. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Would they not have to pursue the person that actually signed the contract prior to coming to get the shed from me? I mean, technically, they've now got contact information for them. Isn't that their first line that they would have to take?
Absolutely, but more likely than not, it sounds like they've ghosted. So if they don't hear from them or if they've left the state, I think you said something to that accord a few moments ago. Then
they have.
Then what's going to happen is, yes, you're right, but in reality, they've ghosted. So they're going to come back to the guy that's here, and that would be you. So ultimately, we're right back to the same starting point. And that's why I gave you the advice in the first place.
All right, buddy.
There you go.
Good luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
You're very welcome. Sometimes it's just not complicated. A lot of times you apply common sense and logic to things.
Yeah.
Lawyers tend to jack stuff up. Well, this case and this statute. No, sometimes it's just the facts. Your guy hurt my guy. All right.
Common sense and logic sometimes don't work, even though they should.
And that's why I enjoy my job. It's always exciting.
Yesterday, I took my son after school, my son and daughter, to Wendy's. There's a Wendy's by their school.
Oh, the spicy chicken nuggets.
My son, can I get spicy chicken nuggets? I said, no problem. I went up to Wendy's, ordered them, pulled through the drive-thru, pulled away, and my son goes, Dad, look at this. I go, what? He goes, just turn on Instagram, an ad for spicy chicken nuggets.
Wow.
I mean, isn't that weird? He's like, I never Googled it, never looked at it, never talked about it or anything.
But they did just like release it, so like even if you've ever been to Wendy's or any fast food or checked in, like you're gonna get that.
You know, it's because they knew we were near Wendy's.
Maybe, or you used your debit card to pay.
Yeah.
You know what I do when I talk to my wife about things that I just want to talk to my wife about? I make sure the phones are off.
Yeah.
There's a black case that I have at the house. You put your cell phones in, you flip it over, and then I unplug Alexa, and then I can have a conversation with my wife.
Man.
And by the way, I turn on all the water, and then I turn all the TVs on real loud, and then I tell my wife whatever I want to tell her.
Are they smart TVs? Yeah, they're recording you.
So I got to plug everything.
Yep.
I put the TV's on. I sit in front of the cameras.
You know what I
turn
do?
YouTube on.
You need the cone of silence.
I'm going to take her. We're going to get snorkels on, and we're going to talk in the pool. That's really the only way to do it. That's crazy.
On the opposite end of the Wendy's spicy nuggets, I just got a Facebook ad for Pete Buttigieg, where I can pledge money to his campaign.
Oh, good for you.
And win a possibility to have pizza with Pete.
Oh, now
Somebody's crossed their algorithms.
Now does he say cool stuff like slam it?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
At all. All right, let's go to alimony. What's alimony, Carmen?
Alimony.
Peggy, good morning.
Good morning, alimony.
Yeah, I know. What do you got, Peggy?
I was married like 30 years. Went through a divorce. I was awarded alimony. It was paid like kind of hit and miss over the years.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Now, it's been a year since September that I received anything. He's been out of work. But in that time, he spent my half of the 401k that was ordered through the courts for us to split it. And he's trying to get disability. And I just wanted to know if I could make a claim against his disability for either the alimony or the half of the 401k that he took.
You real quick, you were married for 30 years?
Yeah.
He worked, you didn't?
Yeah.
And what do you do now? You work now?
Yes, I work now full time.
Well, that had to suck, huh?
Yeah.
You're coasting through, riding his coattails, and then you're like, I gotta go get a job now.
Right. I mean, I don't mind working. It's tight because I'm only making a little over $10 an hour, which it's real difficult.
Well, my question is, without offending you, is you 30 years you didn't have to work, so why does he have to keep paying you?
The court says.
I know, but don't you think that's kind of unfair?
He didn't want me to work. He wanted to stay at home. Why? We had many arguments about it because I did want to work at least part-time, but he wanted me at home.
All right. That's on him then.
So, yeah.
Well,
he made good money. He made over $120K a year. So, my award was $2,400, which I haven't received. I mean, like I said, I've got it hit and miss. But now that he's claiming disability, I've been told I can't get anything out of that. But he stole my half of the 401k, which would have been $30,000.
Stole, you say, or used it to survive?
Right. But I mean, court documents, it's mine. Rightfully, it was mine, and he spent both.
It's unfair, Don.
He spent all 60.
The answer that she seeks is she needs to file with the court that her ex has breached the court agreement. So basically, he has not honored his part of the deal, which is a violation of the court order to pay the court-ordered alimony at $2,400, and then allegedly whatever else he did with the 401k that maybe he should not have done. I do not believe the proper recourse for her is to go against the disability. I don't believe that is recoverable. I don't think she's going to get any of the disability because the design of inherent disability is for the disabled individual that's claiming it if they, in fact, qualify and if they, in fact, get it without several refusals or denials initially. So it might even take her, even if she could get it, which I don't think she can, it's going to take her forever because it's probably going to take him forever. The faster recourse for her is to file a contempt order with the court in a violation of the court order, which if you do not have an attorney, I've got a great family law attorney, Jason Valkenberg. Contact the office and we'll get you guys squared away. That, ma'am, is going to get you money, humbly, I believe, faster than the other way.
Well,
He's not working, so that's why I was asking him more about the
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you very clearly. When there is a judge that says, I'm going to hold you, sir, in civil contempt because you violated my court order, and if you don't comply, then you could be held not only in civil contempt, which means you can be incarcerated, he's going to find the money.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how, now I haven't done that in years because I've stopped doing family law because I've got Jason. But I'll tell you, there was a time where I had one of those issued, and there was an arrest warrant ordered. And let me tell you something, this gentleman who was a doctor, he found the money for my client.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where there's a will, there's a way. And when there's money, you got to pay.
Do you talk to this guy? Like, you guys have a relationship enough where you can make phone calls?
Yeah, we went several years without talking, but since he's been out of work, it's mostly text, but we have spoke on the phone. I don't want him to be arrested. I just want at least the $30K back.
Well, then you want him to have the fear of being arrested for violation of a court order. You can't. A court tells you to do something. It's a court order. You've got to do it. If you don't enforce the court order properly with an order or motion of contempt, it's an order to show cause, then followed by an order of contempt. So there's a couple different steps. So I didn't mean to jump over the first step. Excuse me. So there's a couple steps, but Jason will walk you through those steps. But if you need a lawyer, you go to AskTheDom.com. Let me get you to Jason. Let's help you out because
I would just ask her if she wanted to go to lunch in a rooftop restaurant. That'd be the
well.
Throw her over.
Unless you're there to make your rooftop bar coffee table book. Is there somebody making that here? Wasn't that a tweet that was yesterday, Gavin? Mm-hmm. Wasn't somebody making it?
I was a fan.
Roger, I was listening to the show.
It's not you, ma'am. It's not you. It's the system I'm mad at. You deserve your money.
That's funny.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem. What's funny?
It's an unfair system.
What's funny is I was listening to you guys yesterday when you do the tweets.
Yeah.
You can never read any one of my tweets because you'll know right off if they're all legal or there's some type of advice.
True.
Unless I do one that's really cryptic.
I was digging. I was trying to find some.
I will try to do some just to make it neutral to see if ever you could squeeze one in because I don't think anybody will ever pick me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. You can't do mine either. Mine are mostly just advertisements for the show. I don't like that situation where this guy has to pay this woman alimony. Just doesn't seem like it's fair.
But the thing is because he didn't want her to work. Like if she worked and then they were like,
all right, but then listen, I could say to my wife, hey, when we get married, we want to have kids. I don't want you to work. I want you to be a stay-at-home mom.
Right, so now I'm going to leave you, and you're going to have to go work at a fast food restaurant, and you've lived like a decently
30 years without having to work.
I know, but that's 30 years of without job experience where she can't just go into the workforce and start making a livable wage.
I'll tell you, Carmen is correct because what you're looking at is the time of the marriage. What the state of Florida says is, well, when the marriage ends, what is the betterment for the individual moving forward? And that's Carmen's point. Say, okay, look, fine, you had a great 30 years.
Right.
But now what are you going to do for the next 30?
Yeah, go work at Subway, and now you have to support yourself working two or three jobs.
She's not educated, right? If she doesn't have a college degree, someone's going to hire her to do what?
So then when your husband says to you, when we get married, I don't want you to work, you have to say, no, I want to work. I want to be prepared for the future.
But
you don't have to say that. That's not
if you don't have to and he doesn't want to, he wants to help support you, then that's his choice. Yeah. And that's his choice by marrying you.
I support my wife.
Right.
But she also has her master's degree. So if I wasn't around, she can go get a new job that pays her more than she makes now.
Your wife has that to fall back on. That lady doesn't.
You're comparing your family to the folks in the community. That's not equal.
Right. But what I'm saying is that you should be, as an adult woman, not dependent on a man to make your money.
But in society, and when you marry someone and he wanted you to stay home, and that was part of...
Then know that in the future, your future is uncertain because...
No, bitch, pay me alimony.
Did you just call Mr. Mike Calta, bitch?
Yeah.
Hey, Carmen,
women are equal.
Carmen, will you come over here, sit next to me?
No.
I don't remember the last time you and I were on the same side of an issue. And you're attacking Mike high, I'll go low.
Okay.
Or you go low, I'll go high.
Alex, you're on Ask the Dom. What do you got, Alex? Alex.
Hey, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
I had my boat stolen earlier this month, and they took the motor off of it, and I got it back, and now I'm dealing with the insurance company.
and we have replacement costs on our insurance, and the insurance company is saying now that they don't think that they'll do replacement cost on it because the boat was parked in the neighbor's driveway and not in my driveway. And I don't know if do I need a lawyer?
Yeah, well, probably. I'm not quite sure what distinction it makes regarding replacement where the boat is. I mean, if the boat's not in your driveway, if it was at a marina, or if it was at a dry dock, or if it was at your mother's house, I mean, I don't know if that is a specific requirement in the contract that you have, that it's got to be on the property that you own. So we would have to read through that. It sounds like to me that they're kind of fishing for excuses to deny coverage. That's what aggravates me about insurance companies. So the answer is yes. You definitely need a lawyer, contract lawyer in particular, to handle insurance claims. We've got one. So AskTheDom.com, take care of you.
All right, there you go. Let's do one more phone call, and let's go to if you have expungement, just call the office and let them handle that.
AP Investigations, Pam can talk to you.
Aaron, go ahead. You're on with Ask the Dom.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
What's up, buddy?
Not much. I applied for my concealed carry about 3 months ago, and I just got a letter a couple weeks ago saying that the background check was suspended because in 2013 I had gotten a speeding and a no seatbelt ticket, and I forgot to pay it. So when it went to court the next morning, there was a warrant for my arrest, and they came and got me in my house. Well, I paid for everything before I even left jail that day. And then the other reason was that I had a possession of marijuana back in 2000 when I was 18, which was also a misdemeanor.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that it was just felonies that kept you from getting your concealed carry.
No. Everybody makes this mistake all the time, and it's a very common mistake. A felony prevents you from having a firearm in general. All right, a felon cannot be in possession of a firearm, which is a slight impingement, or a large impingement, rather, on the Second Amendment right to carry firearms, because you've lost that inherently because of a felon conviction. If you do not have a felony conviction, then you can own a firearm. Your issue is you want to conceal it now. So there's a difference between owning a firearm and having a concealed firearm. So that's the separation. So if you have a history, let's say you're no, I don't believe you're a convicted felon because you just talked about some misdemeanors and a traffic citation. But remember, the Department of Agriculture makes a determination based on each applicant's history. And if they deny a request for a concealed weapons permit, they'll send you the notice and they'll give you the reasons. You can appeal that to them and say, look, this is incorrect, or, take a look at this, or, you can reapply. But if they say no, the answer is no, because it is a privilege, not a right, to have a concealed weapons permit, which is different from the right to bear arms outside of being convicted of a felon under the Second Amendment of the Constitution. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
There you go. Boom. Done.
Shouldn't have been so irresponsible, sir.
But a lot of people get those two issues confused,
Right.
which is a great question on the morning, because we talk about it all the time on the evening. We have a few times on this show here, but it's great to put that out to clear it up for everybody. So.
All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah. But he can still reapply. I mean, he's not dead in the water. He can still reapply, and if he needs help with Pam and AP Investigation, do some
I got to tell
investigation.
you, I think that I would have to reject that application.
Well, and
I don't trust it. He was not smart enough to pay his bills. This is something that can take a life.
Well, Mike, that's
Tommy's out. I stamped it out.
That's if you're working with the department, and then the answer was no. I mean, you just stamp.
I'm sorry. Rejected.
Just like a license to drive, the Lord giveth, and the DMV taketh away.
Mm-hmm.
Asked and answered.
That's right.
If you didn't get through today, you can call the office, 813-251-5550, or you can simply go to AskTheDom.com if you want to get in touch with a family lawyer or something else that Dom will recommend for you. He can do that all through AskTheDom.com. And then tomorrow night on this very radio station where he has his own show, where you never know, I may stop by again.
Yeah, that was fun.
I might pop in.
You did great, Mike. You always do good.
I had a fun time.
It was great to hang out with you. That was a lot of fun, man. I appreciate you stopping in.
Thank you for coming in this morning. We will take a break. It's the Mike Calta Show. This is 102.5 The Bone.
You're listening to the Mike Calta Show on 102.5 The Bone.